Yeah.
When you're working with clients and working this idea of nourishment, I mean, ultimately, like I have so many clients who they know their mom issues, they know their dad issues are so in their head. And what they're screaming for is actually to let Allah be their nourishment.
Yes.
How do you make that bridge between the mother and, like Christ said, you have to hit your mother and father and really to come to God? How do you make that bridge, particularly for a non-believer, to allow that mercy to come to them, that nourishment?
What I have seen work, I mean, Allahu Alam, I have seen simply teaching them how to stand support that. I mean, there's an impulse and an inclination for that to happen in the first place. One must remember, you have to remember that it's there. They were created by God, and they know that. They were aware of the rahmah that they experienced in the womb. They are aware of the separation from Allah initially. And then the second re-experiencing of separation from the womb, and then the next separation from mom, and the next separation from the family and the community, all of these degrees of it. So what they want to do is regain the sense of connection. So I say, what I have seen, and I'm not saying this is the absolute answer, there's many, many, many possibilities here, but becoming aware of the sensations of your body, being present in your body, provides you with the unconscious sensation and experience of being held. Not by someone else. Yeah, it's wonderful to be held by your spouse, someone you love, and to hold them. But it's also possible to feel held simply by being present and being held by Allah's creation. But you can only do that by being, one, aware of standing, so you actually have the sense of that unconsciously, and aware of your senses so that you know where you end and where the creation, Do you see what I'm saying? So there's a ground, what I want to repeat, this line, I'll repeat it again. Grounding one's experience in sensation. And that's particularly valuable for us in a time in which we have abstracted ourselves from experience. And our experience is abstracted from us. Image, TV, do you see? So it's called coming to your senses. Allah has designed that to be, and then the spiritual practices, then your salat becomes different. The wudu, look at wudu, subhanAllah. One sheikh said, when you make the wudu, what you're doing is besides cleaning yourself, you are sealing the rububiyyah of your being. You're sealing the wholeness, the lordship of your being. You're sealing all of the wholeness of it. The arms, the orifices, the ears, the face. You're sealing it. You're becoming completed and contained, so that you're in a place you're present in your body to pray. One sheikh said, you do wudu so that you're present, so that when you're praying, you experience. Then again, you are, boom, boom, on the earth, on the ground, on the planet we're on, designed by Allah for this period of time in our history of mankind. It's not a prayer in our mind, No. Yes, the recitation of Quran also has its physical effects, but existentially, our practices are existential actions of submission, but also of grounding. 7 points, ground on the earth. And if you're Maliki, which is I am, you do it on the earth. And I prefer doing it, on the grass and on the ground. And the Prophet ﷺ left the dirt on his forehead when he prayed. So even the non-Muslims, even they are capable of achieving more of a sense of being held and contained within themselves. And to beginning by observing sensation, to begin to regulate and manage their experiences on their own. And then if they're fortunate enough to have a teaching, a spiritual teaching that can support an understanding of the jalal and the jamal, the majestic and the beautiful, and the opposites, or the complementary experiences of life, the joy and the sorrow. And they can begin to recognize that they contain both of those things. in their life, that this is life itself. There will always be joy and there will be sorrow. And I know non-Muslims, and they said this, and one of them said, they were Hindus, and one was saying to this woman, saying, well, so what do we do with the joy, the extreme joy and the extreme sorrow? How do we manage that? And she said, well, just realize that they're both held in the same place, in your being. And that is the nature of this, that's it. We are, Jalal and Jamal. It's beauty and majesty. Terrible, majestic realities and absolute sublime beauty. Conflict does not exist without peace. Peace does not exist without conflict. And with ourselves as well. So that's beginning to contain that. Then feeling whole. And then, what I was talking about yesterday is beginning to become alive. That's feeling a sense of fullness because the life is flowing from you. Feeling a sense of fullness in your being is the only way you can have love and experience love with other people. That you have enough love to give out. It's not something you get. We all know that. Yes, it's something we want. And it's something we often feel we miss. But the food is not going to fill it. The other person is not really going to fill it. We can be full enough to give out from it. Fulfilled. Fulfilled to overflowing is how the best relationships happen. So yes, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, what a gift to have that other person. But, one needs to feel full in oneself. The more full one feels in oneself, the more. So that's the bridge, I believe. But it's experiential. You have to feel full, you have to feel whole. And part of health is feeling whole. So that's why I say the prophets' medicine was all of the prophets, peace be upon them all, they all brought medicine. That's who they were. They were the healers for us. And we'd get sick to a certain period of degree as groups and the civilizations, and then Allah designed it. And He designs it now, too, so that particular, even after the Prophet ﷺ, after his passing in the world, so that periodically people come to renew the truth of our teaching, to bring it back alive again. And where do these teachers come from? Where do the prophets come from? Huh? Well, Allah designs it, but from whom do they come from? Amongst who they come from? Us. They are us. They come from us. لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ. From Allah sends the prophets from amongst ourselves, and that is an indication that this is who we are. Aqsani taqwim. On the ground, we are designed like the Prophet ﷺ was designed. Allahu Akbar. We cannot belittle and underestimate. So we have these capabilities in ourselves. And even, and everyone has it by the virtue of their being human being. Incredibly designed by Allah. So the Prophet's medicine, if we could begin, we talk about following his sunnah, but we're so far away from it. We don't have a clue often. Like I say, you realize he ate usually one thing. Right? Anybody really familiar with the traditionally with the customs actually of how he ate, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He ate, like I said, a piece of bread. He didn't eat, we know from nutrition, we learn there's salad and what they call the well-balanced, but it's not, it's not true, is it? Maybe he'd eat some dates and some milk. That's complicated, but like 4 or 5 things? No, it's really very simple. Very simply. So it's hard for us to do that. And it's hard for us to extricate ourselves from what's around us. To be honest, I go to, Le Bon Pain, whatever it's called. We could say it's a nice place, but I look at it and think, my God, what am I going to eat here? Sorry, but... And to be honest, if I go to get vegetables, I drove through the Fresno Valley. Who knows the Fresno Valley, the Central Valley of California? Used to be it used to be the place where all the fruit and all the vegetables came. It still does, except if you drive through there, last time I drove through there, I was with some Mexican Muslims, and we stopped at a stand, stand on the side of the road. I wept. Because the food, and then because I looked at the food, I smelled the food, I didn't even bother tasting it because it was dead. And then I looked at the fields around me and I got the sense of what was happening. It was tragic. And what is happening there is what's happening here. It's a metaphor, it's a reflection. What's happening when people go to McDonald's and they live off, they go up and they drive up and they eat food in their car. Well, I mean, some of us do too. I mean, I'm not criticizing, but I'm saying you have to realize that that's the state of people. You go to the supermarket and it's all processed food, it's all synthetic flavors, it's all vegetables and fruits that are dead, that have no flavor and no smell. I don't think they'd even rot if you gave them the chance to rot. I was telling one brother the other day that in New Mexico, I have a friend that grows cows and sheep, grows them organically. And what they do nowadays, I don't know if you know, the health department comes to test, to see that the animals, and one of the things they do is they take a little slice from the liver of one of the animals and they put it in an incubator, then they seal the incubator with a little seal. And then they come back, a certain period of time later, a couple of weeks later. Anybody know about this process? And you know what they're looking for? Bacteria. They're looking for decay. And if it doesn't decay, if it's the same as when they left, they'll quarantine because there's so much antibiotics pumped into the animals that the thing doesn't even rot. It won't even break down. It won't go bad. And if you're putting that into your body? So, yeah.